Hello, hello, and welcome back to Transparent, where we do interviews and not interviews. My name is LaKendra Ford, and I am sitting here with two marvelous ladies. I couldn't wait to get them on here. Everyone, I want you to meet Misfits Unplugged. Hey, ladies.
Hello, hello.
Hey!
Oh my goodness. I'm looking forward to speaking with you and sharing y'all with our audience because these ladies right here has, pretty much in this time, you exemplify what the real modern day heroes are. The people who are picking up life and moving forward despite everything that's going on and moving and being progressive. And I just admire the both of you. So I'm so honored that you decided to come sit with us
Aw,
today.
thank you.
Thank you so much for having us. This is exciting.
So I
Awesome.
just want to introduce you first. Um, Isabel, can you let everyone know who you are?
Yeah, so I'm Isabel Velasquez. I have been in the insurance industry for the past 15 years, growing up the corporate ladder. I am originally from Washington Heights, uptown Manhattan.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, if anyone's watched the movie, that's where I'm from. Cuban Puerto Rican background, mama, world traveler, wife. That's me in a nutshell.
Okay, Isabel. Is it all right? I refer to you as Izzy because Brandy, she got me hooked on that sometimes.
Absolutely. I prefer Izzy. Thank you.
And listen, I started calling her that from the day I met her. I didn't even know that was her nickname. So it
well,
sticks.
thank you, Isabel. And Brandy, now to you. Can you tell us a little bit about who you are and a little bit about your upbringing?
Yeah, sure. So I am Brande Kelley, half founder of Misfits Unplugged, originally from Dayton, Ohio, a little small little town in the middle of America somewhere that packs a bit of a punch all the same. And I too have, just sort of climbed the career ladder. First third of my career was spent in the music industry, which LaKendra and I, where we connected. And then the second third of my career was just jumping into corporate and climbing the corporate ladder, and now VP of operations for a very reputable financial firm here in Connecticut. So
Wow.
that's kind of who I am in a nutshell.
That's a lot of life, sis. You just said that with ease. Yeah. Yeah,
She's
that's
very
easy.
talented.
Okay. Okay, so this is my first time having three people on. So I'm just going to have to go between the two of you asking a few questions if that's okay.
Yeah, sure.
Absolutely.
Okay, awesome. Okay, so I'm going to start with hmm. Izzy, can you tell us how you and Brandy met and how did
Absolutely.
you become accountability partners?
So it's a funny story. I had joined a firm in this like more entry level role, and in a quick period of time, the agency we were working for was going through this big transition. So old
Mhm.
person I was working for resigned. She didn't want to be a part of the change. Brandy was going through some changes in her career as well. So she came on over to work with me. I got a promotion to be the director of the department. Brandy came in to be the co-director. So I knew Brandy because she was one of our partners, but she was working for a different firm.
Mhm.
Two alpha females. We didn't know what we were coming into. So we both started 9 a.m., went into an office, and then in like 30 seconds realized that we were like office soulmates. She pulled out her iPad. She had notes already. I had notes already. The conversation flowed. The synergy was immediate. And we
Mhm.
worked together probably for, I want to say, 5 or 6 years. And in that
Mhm.
5 or 6 year period, that's really where Misfits came about. We always talked about wanting entrepreneurship and doing something together. We were accountability partners for each other to get unstuck in our lives and careers. We were stuck in
Mhm.
terrible relationships, where we were in our career, living this paycheck to paycheck life. And we just helped each other get to where we were. Because of our partnership, we propelled ourselves to both being in this, leadership positions at two different firms. Our lives are completely different but parallel.
Mhm.
So that's where we became partners. We actually were helping each other become entrepreneurs in our own careers. Like she wanted to do her own business. I wanted to do my own. We were meeting on a weekly basis in these strategy sessions to keep
Mm-hmm.
ourselves moving. One day I jokingly said, we should just do this business together. And over one weekend, we did a girls' trip to New Jersey, and over a weekend, Misfits, our business plan, our mission, our statement, everything was outlined, but the name didn't come until later, but we were
Mhm.
always Misfits.
Mhm.
Right.
That weekend, we have done more over the last 6 months together than we did in the last 6 years trying to create businesses separate. So that synergy we have had, we are combining our corporate America and our street smarts, and that's Misfits Unplugged.
Mhm.
Oh wow. Oh wow. See, you know what? But this makes complete sense to me because all the while, it's about 20 years that I've known Brandy, and I've always seen her, besides in the music industry, in a corporate setting, and she just had these butterflies just tattooed up her neck. I was like, how did you get away with that? How?
Mhm.
Because I was trying to do it and a little bit of corporate, and I'm in there looking like a penguin, and she just has so much pizzazz. I'm like, and you're great. Like how?
She
So
commands a room.
yes, she does. So Brandy, I have a two-part question for you. The
Mhm.
first thing is I can probably guess why y'all misfits, but why was that like? Please explain to us all, how did y'all come up with that name?
It's so funny because trust me, because her and I are super OCD. If you could see our girls' trip, we had whiteboards and big post-it notes all over the walls. And we were just trying to think, and it literally took us maybe a couple of weeks to even come up with the name once we decided that we were actually going to go into business with one another. And we just kept coming back to, what are we trying to represent here? Like,
Right.
we know that we did the corporate thing and that's part of who we are, but part of how we got here was really a holistic approach, because a lot of what we had to get through on a personal level, the self development and all of that stuff, is really what makes us jail and what we want to bring to the marketplace. And the thing that I think set us apart, you talk about me with tattoos all up my neck. One of the reasons why her and I kind of, meshed in the beginning is because I saw she was tattooed out too. I'm like, oh, wait a minute. We about to. um,
Okay.
so we both, have a bit of edge to us in general, both personally, but I think even professionally. So when talk about, how I was able to navigate corporate with tattoos all over my neck, and we could talk about that a little bit later in terms of, how, the undertones to that affected me in my career. But I think, you just kind of got to show up. And so when we were thinking about, what names really, really, set us apart, Misfits came up, and then we set it aside for a second, and it came up again. We was like, wait a minute, this is who we are. This
Right.
is who we are. And we didn't want to just put Misfits because, we're not just Misfits, but the unplugged piece came because it was kind of like, who are we when we unplug out of that corporate environment? Because that's really who we are. And even part of what we are trying to bring to the marketplace is helping people come together holistically, bringing their personal life, all of their natural assets and abilities and weaknesses and strengths and all of these different things,
Right.
and really build an avatar for yourself that doesn't necessarily conform to, what corporate America is, really what the image of corporate
Right.
America
Right.
is.
Right.
So that's how we came up with that name.
Misfits Unplugged. I know somebody out there saying, "Oh man, I wish I would have came up with that." I know, but listen, these ladies. Want to talk to my friends out there. These ladies, seriously, they have just jumped on the scene in a powerful way. They're career coaches, but they're also, and it's not just in corporate. I think the things that you ladies have applied and taught so far are things that goes across the gamut of professions. I don't care if you're
Mm-hmm.
an athlete, you're in an office, you're in a food chain. or you're just an entrepreneur. It's certain things that you ladies have introduced, practices and different things that can increase anyone's skill set. So I think that
Mhm.
you are definitely valuable, and I can't wait for people to come and check your platform out because it's off the chain. I say
Thank
that I
you.
love it,
Thank
you
you.
know. So it's even been helping me, and I appreciate you for, because a lot of times when you're working, a lot of us could attest to this. It's always an upper management. You don't know quite how they got there, and they're not as willing to share those tools
Mhm.
because they don't want the competition.
Hmm.
So yeah. So it's the truth.
Mhm.
You
Yeah.
don't got that office enemy. I'm not
Mhm.
saying I had any enemies, but I'm just saying a lot of
Mhm.
people are not good with sharing information and being transparent.
Mhm.
So you ladies exemplify everything, as you see our show is transparent, that I stand for as well. So
That's
okay,
awesome.
I just wanted to say that, but moving on, I'm going to switch it up a little bit if it's okay,
Mhm.
because I don't know Isabel as well. So I want to know who you were. Who was the you before you got into your career path versus the you that you are now?
Yeah, I love this question, by the way, because it made me think back, like, oh, because I remember who I am now, but where were my like humble beginnings?
Mhm.
So growing up, I was more about family, community, humor. So I lead with humor because that is my upbringing. So that translated over to who I am as a corporate an entrepreneur now is I lead with humor to also make people feel comfortable. And it's kind of like my superpower. I try to be as down to earth and relatable as possible because I don't like, yeah, we have so many like corporate, copy and paste and same people and personalities.
Mhm.
But with me, and that's where the Misfits comes in. I wanted to be different and I wanted to be authentically myself. Years ago, maybe before I met Brandy, I was incredibly insecure and had a lack of confidence and overthought everything, and that had to come with I spent all my life overweight, curly hair, Hispanic, and that does not what corporate America looks like. Brandy talks
Mhm.
about her tattoos. And with me, these things that I had, made me very insecure. And I reached a point in my career where I said, this is not going to stop me from where I want to go in life. I wanted to be a doctor. I wanted to do all of these different things. And you believe it or not, I talked myself out of it because, there's no plus size doctors. There's not,
Mhm.
these insecurities would creep up. So Brandy and I met, I've been open about, these struggles that I've had in my, foundational upbringing and even into the beginning of my career. And now we fast forward 10 years later, I speak about it so that other people can see, everyone has insecurities, right?
Mhm.
So now I use it to say, that's why I've been trying to do my hair more curly in these podcasts because I used to straighten my hair for every meeting because, you had to wear a suit, you had to have your hair straightened, you need to wear heels for every corporate meeting.
Mhm.
That's not what everyone needs to be. So now
Mhm.
where I am a lot more confident and motivated. I have accountability with Brandy, but I also have goals that I set for myself to keep me on track to where I want to be in life.
Mhm.
Right, right. Wow, wow. You just said a lot, and I think I know for myself it's a lot of when you said the insecurities that creep up on us. I had them myself. I didn't feel the image that I have fit
Mhm.
where I worked. It was always something that stood out, and I did have to make that same decision you did, Isabel, that I was
Mhm.
not going to let it stop me
Mhm.
Exactly.
to be
Mhm.
the best version of myself that I could be. But that comes with obstacles, of course. And I know, Brandy, you may have some similar experience, but what were some of the obstacles that you had to face in your individualism in the workplace?
I would say, if I'm completely honest, a lot of it probably had to do with me and myself. And I always tell people, you know, no matter how many ambitions you have, who you are, what insecurities you have, always show up with you, even if you're not, speaking them. And so, to Isabel's point, I was also a woman of color coming out of the music industry. Like you said, tattoos all up my neck. And honestly, when I got into the insurance finance industry, I wasn't going in it thinking that it was going to be like a lifetime career. Like I had no idea that I was going to be there for 15 plus years. It just so happens that I got into it and found some strategic ways to like show my superpower, so to speak. So I
Right.
started to get some attention. And then once I started to get the attention, imposter syndrome, Isabel talks about that a lot. Sort of crept in. Am I really supposed to be here? The finance industry is is a white male dominated industry. Second is white women, and so when you have aspirations for yourself, but you don't see people who look like you, um, the scary part is trying to carve your own way and create your own avatar, so to speak. So I think that, my hurdle always came with just show up, like,
Right.
um, show up regardless of what insecurities you have. Show up, show up, show up. And the more you do that, you strengthen your muscle, so to speak,
Right.
because all those insecurities that you think you have, if you make the decision to not let them stop you and show up, show up, show up, you start to see that, oh, it's not about what I'm thinking everybody is thinking. It's me kind of thing. So
Right.
my hurdles were definitely fighting that inner thing that was, maybe you're not supposed to be here. You're the only, Black woman in the room that has executive aspirations. Is the reason why I think I overcompensated with going out and getting mad degrees and designations. And I know Kendra every other, the week was like, what you going for now kind of thing. But it was kind of, wanting to make sure that I shored up that space in case there was any doubt. I wanted to make sure that I was educated, that I knew what I was talking about. I always wanted to be the expert in the room. And so with that came a lot of self-development. Just goes back to self-development.
Right. Right. And I had to watch you go through that. I don't know if you did the same thing, Izzy, but I'm so proud of Brandy. Having her masters, all that schoolwork, all that schoolwork.
It's
Come
a
on,
lot
Yeah.
of work, yes.
let's give it up for schoolwork. Everybody, give it up for schoolwork. Because everyone loves schoolwork, unless except for the people who don't love
Exactly.
schoolwork.
Listen, and had we had some of the tools that are out here today, I don't know that Isabel and I would have pursued the degrees, with the vigor that we pursued them with, because now information is so readily available.
Right.
And that's
Yeah.
the point. I mean, that's part of what Misfits Unplugged is about. It's about bottling a lot of what we had to go to school for, our history and climbing the corporate ladder, and just bottling that up. So maybe it gives somebody a little bit of clarity, if nothing else, about, what direction they should take in their careers.
Right. Right. All right, ladies, y'all showing up. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, it's easy talking with people who are just great conversation. And I know that once people watch this, they're going to go on to follow you, because these ladies, they keep it really straight, really real, able to just break things down into the simplest form. And that's what I think your audience really appreciates about your platform.
Mm-hmm.
So I'll just move forward if that's okay, because y'all
Mm-hmm.
already answered some of the questions that I had. So yeah. So now that you ladies are career coaches, I would say, is that a correct way to sum up what you do? Career coaches.
I think that's part of it, but maybe Isabel can go into greater detail about what Misfits Unplugged's platform is about.
Yeah, so we created a platform that is geared towards, it's more of an educational platform. We're going to be sharing bits of knowledge on our Instagram platform, Misfits Unplugged as well. And what we would like to do is that, like you mentioned, Kendra, we're brand new in the last 6 months and we're building our brand. So right now it's more about information sharing on Instagram. Our podcast is launching June 15th. We're going to be sharing more information, live conversations just like this. And then
Mm-hmm.
we're going to be having master classes and e-courses to help people pair it up with what they're doing in their educations. Like we mentioned, we both have master's degrees in organizational leadership, and we also have hundreds of thousands of student loan debt. So what we want to do is partner with what you're doing as your education, because this is the same thing like financial literacy. You go to school, you walk away, but what tactical skills do you have? What
Right.
Right.
can you write on your resume other than you have your degree, but you don't have the skill sets yet? What we want to do is share the last, combined 30 years of experience we have so that you can walk away with what to say during an interview, what to have on your resume, how to land the job, and how to get the actual experience to not only land the job, but be very successful.
Mm-hmm.
So we're partnering with college graduates, emerging leaders, people who are in their careers and they're just feeling stuck. And then we'll have the YouTubes and things that, we're working on.
And
So right
support
now,
that.
I think that coaching is a good title that we have. But I think it's all around the education and keynote speaking and just motivating and paying it forward. I think that summarizes it.
Yep.
Absolutely.
That's good.
Absolutely. Thank you. So so either one of you ladies could take this next question. So what is it that you feel is the most significant question a person needs to ask themselves while they're in the pursuit of personal or professional greatness?
Brande, you want to take that one?
Sure. It's funny because I think that I just did an IG on this the other day, and it was, really asking yourself who you are at the core and what you want. Because I think if you can figure out those two things, you can sort of carve out the path. Now, I would consider myself a visionary in that I don't start with the details. I start far, far out. So I'm already thinking about, where Misfits Unplugged is going to be 10 years from now, right? So the details matter, but not as much when you're trying to figure out what the target is. And I think, setting up a target for something that is not you is sort of counterproductive. So meshing those two things together, really doing the work. And it's a simple question, but a lot of people have a really hard time answering it. Who are you and how do you want to show up in the world? What impact do you want to make? And then how you get there is just a matter of tactics. It's just a matter of, figuring out what you need to do to get there. But those are the two bigger, questions that I think is huge for somebody trying to figure out in personal or professional life. What do you really want and who are you?
Right. Indeed. Indeed. Some of us will spend a lifetime trying to answer those questions. So I thank you for giving it a go because I know it wasn't going to be simple.
And I think it changes every year. We're different, right? As women, as I'm different every day. Depending on what mood I wake up in. But we're also different every year, so changing and looking at, or, we always look back 12 months, we look forward to seeing, looking at that question and saying, is it the same answer?
Right. The more we
I like
develop,
that.
the more we develop the different, because we go into life and we're exposed to different things. So, the factors is what determines who we are today, right? And the new decisions we have to make. So I know this much about you ladies, but I want to share with the audience that not only are these women brilliant and courageous, but they are nurturing. All of us share this in common. We all have very young children. Yeah. And I don't know, it's just me, but I kind of envy those who had their children at a younger age.
I agree there. My body and my sleep agree with that.
My knees are telling me no.
My back.
My back.
I know it's probably just me when I'm trying to work and get things done. And I know I tell my son a little bit too much information, like sharing with him the fact that mommy waited too late to have you. And he's just looking at me like Coco Melon, So, with that balance, ladies, I know it's always a sacrifice, and this is one of the things that always come up when I speak with women who are trying to develop their careers. Having that balance between being the ideal mother that you waited to become, and also the ideal career professional that you work so hard for. How do you balance that? Any one of you could take that, or both.
Isabel, you just did a whole IG on that. You can take that.
Mom life balance. there is sacrifice, and I think that having, for me, I'm married, my husband, a partner in my corner who is supportive and understands, and we kind of work off of each other. It's difficult depending on what everyone has different life paths. So
Mhm.
it's making sure you have a really good support system in your life, I think is really key, and being honest with everyone around you, because you can't give everything 100%. Can't give my
Mhm.
marriage, my daughter, my 9 to 5 job, Brandy and I starting this business. I also am trying to be healthy. There's so many things going on at the same time, and you can't
Mhm.
give everything 100%. So you're going to drop the ball every once in a while. So I think that being honest and being realistic with my time,
Mm.
there's only so much time in a day, and there's only so much days in a week. So, Brandy and I talk about how organized and OCD we are, which I am in my own personal life. I try to be, calendaring my time, go to the
Mhm.
gym at 30 minutes before, wake up here after I put the baby to sleep, spend an hour on Misfits Unplugged, trying to be strategic. I'm going to record 2 or 3 videos in that 1 hour, or I'm going to work on this. Or Brandy and I have an hour meeting every Friday. So we touch base. So we always have that secure to make sure that we're always keeping the needle moving, or we're moving
Mhm.
along our business. So it's about being honest with the people around you, having a good support system, and then just knowing when to take a break. So there's no shortage of Brandy and I saying, okay, this weekend we're going away. I just went away last weekend to just kind of relax, do nothing. I didn't
Mhm.
do anything. I
Mhm.
Nothing.
recorded some stuff, but um just making sure to stop sometimes and breathe, and realizing that it's okay not to do anything. Just relax and enjoy the
Yeah.
company of, my baby. She's only a year and a half. She's going to be 2 in September. So
Wow.
me and Brandy also shared in that we are career driven women, but we are also want to be present mothers.
Mhm.
So we put them forward. So
Mhm.
you'll see in between our recording, we paused. Brandy and I just finished recording our own podcast, and her son Grayson made an appearance. Before that, my husband and my daughter made an appearance.
Yeah, it's like, listen, it is what it is at this point.
Yeah,
Right,
it's
right.
part of ours. So our brand is being, family. So I
Mhm.
think that was also helped us with our, with our balance, our mom life balance.
Mhm.
So I hope that answers your question, but that's pretty much how we are
Absolutely,
keeping our head above
absolutely.
water.
Yeah.
No, no, absolutely. And I know I'm not alone. And even if I'm alone in this, I don't care, because I'm going to be transparent right now. You
Mhm.
said a couple of things, Isabel, about y'all having an organized calendar and you're being OCD. See, don't tell anybody, but since I had the baby, the calendar went out the window. You know, like I'm hitting monthly goals and I'm happy. I'm just throw it up. Whatever day it land or get done, I'm all
Yeah.
happy.
Celebrate the small victories. Like, I have a pile
Mhm.
of laundry I need to do right now, and I'm okay with that. Because some things, like I mentioned to you, we're gonna drop the ball, and the
True.
laundry is it right now for us this week.
Li- Listen, I just saved my
Talk
life.
about sacrifices.
Right. I just saved my life from a Tonka truck. I'm like, they still making it? Come on. Come on. Whew. All right.
That's
Thank
funny.
you so much, ladies. So I'm going to throw this one to Brandy, if you don't mind.
Okay.
I would like you to tell us what the impact, or what is it your hopes that you for Misfits Unplugged? What do you think is going to stand for ultimately for people in the marketplace and of the workplace, and also in
Mhm.
your personal lives?
Well, Isabel started out by, talking about how Misfits Unplugged came together. And, part of this is coaching, but the other piece is education, which I think is pretty important. And we do understand that we are in a microwave society now. So even the shift from what we do day to day in corporate and figuring out, different methods and ways to reach people via social media, via different internet platforms, like our goal is to create the next operational leaders of the future.
Right.
And hopefully those people that we're able to coach and touch and have impact with are people who, as they go through our exercises, go through our courses, follow us all over our different platforms, that they get little nuggets that they'll come back and say, 2 or 3 years later, that they helped me figure out how to get from A to B in my career. And because of it, I have a more fulfilling career. I'm making more money.
Right.
And they were an example of, how to be messy with it, but also create some structure and infrastructure around what they're doing, to hopefully build careers that they love.
Well, okay. Couldn't have said it any better, And another thing I want to mention, having having a background in upper management and then transitioning to being an entrepreneur. I don't want you out there listening to think if you're not just on this corporate, ladder that this doesn't apply. What they have is tools
Mm-hmm.
for everything that you do.
Yeah.
Whether you're a work from home mom or dad, this is the structure. These are they have like the ABCs and I mean they got abbreviations for everything. You really can't.
Listen,
And
thanks for that plug, because
right.
Isabel can take you through the ABCDs and what that foundational course is. Now, because that could help a lot of people regardless of where you are in life. No matter
does.
where you're starting from. Mm-hmm.
It does, and I'm gonna be honest. I had some dinner since then, and I love just bringing up some of the language that you ladies use, and just makes me feel so important. Sipping my wine, like, well. So, definitely you have dropped some jewels, and I just pretty much you summed up everything. I just only have two remaining questions, and I can let y'all get back to those babies and that day off. But I want to ask each of you to finish this statement for personally, not just Misfits Unplugged.
Mm-hmm.
But Isabel, can you finish this? The legacy of Isabel will be found where?
Oh, I don't even know how to answer that. The legacy. Well, number one is my baby, right? Olivia is my legacy, instilling in her my ethics, my morals, my drive, and then inspiring anyone who feels like they want to achieve something, but they don't fit in the status quo and they don't want to be in this box, and they are misfits at heart and they want to achieve anything. When they meet us, I want them to feel inspired that they can accomplish whatever they set forward in their life, whether it be late motherhood or whatever it is, travel the country. I want them to feel that they can accomplish anything, that there's no limits, and no one should limit their mentality.
Right. Excellent. Excellent. Brande.
That was so eloquent.
I know.
And I didn't practice that. I was just like, this is from my heart. It's going to be my baby.
That was
Cheers for me for picking
that was a
great
hardball.
guests. Yes. Okay, so Brande, could you answer that as well? The legacy of Brande Kelley will be found where?
Well, I definitely have to start with my little nugget too. Because I think as parents, we obviously want to give our children the best and we want to give them the best of who we are, right? And we know that we are not perfect individuals or human beings, but like Isabel said, that work ethic, that just being a genuinely good person, a person that has a heart of service, a person that has a heart of community, a person who thinks of life and things bigger than themselves. For me, that's God, and that's something that I want to instill in him. And then the second piece is just go out and kick ass,
and take names.
Yep. As long as you can. Listen, and as long as you can too. I mean, this whole I want to retire at 65. I want to retire at 50. I'm more like, do what you love to do and can do for as long as you can, because when you're not doing it, you're probably dead or sick. Right? That's the goal. Go out and kick ass. Raise your family. Be a good person. That's it.
Well, okay. So you all have heard where they will lead their legacy. And I just have, if any one of you can let me know, how can our audience follow you? Where can they find you? And I know there's a podcast coming up later this month. I want all of you that's listening, go check these ladies out. You will not regret it at all. Okay? So can you give them just the handles of how to find you?
Go ahead, Isabel.
All right. So misfitsunplugged.com. You can start there. It'll link you everywhere. We have an Instagram. We're posting daily. We go live on a bi-weekly basis on some hot topics, and we tie them to our foundational course, which is the ABCDs that Kendra mentioned. The podcast is going to be on Spotify. We already started recording. Look out for those. You can sign up for our newsletter, and on a monthly basis, we'll update you on what's going on. So Misfits Unplugged, same name on IG, and we are building a community of misfits, and we hope that everyone will join us.
Yes, yes. Thank you, ladies.
Thank you, LaKisha, for the opportunity. We appreciate it, really.
Absolutely. I am definitely a permanent part of y'all communities. I look forward to every time it pops up on my telephone and I chime in. I appreciate you for being transparent, and I appreciate you for going through the process, because it's very inspiring to those who aspire to do the same, or comforting to those who have done the same and who are trying to get to that next step. So I will definitely put the links on the video. Anyone who wants to contact them or connect with them, they'll have a way. I want you all that's listening, leave your comments, questions. These ladies will check back and see if there's anything that they could answer for you more personally and thoroughly. But once again, I'd like to thank you all for joining Transparent, where we do interviews and not interviews. All right,
awesome. Thank you.
Yeah.
Bye-bye.
Bye, everyone.